actually the first time that it succeeds. But we should remember that a church of Villejuif was a target for an attacker who shot himself finally and got caught. And it is very weird, if I may say so, because usually priests and nuns and shouldn't be targeted even by jihadi groups. And they take many religious examples talking about this, that in history even the Prophet Muhammad and others spared religious people, even if and churches were not destroyed. So it is like kind of weird, and as each and every time the Islamic State will have a religious explanation or justification of that. But of course, it's a first, even for jihadi movements as a whole, to target a priest like this inside the church. They could have targeted, for example, the Christian population, but not people who are priests or people of the book, as they say. Because even in Syria and Iraq, if they're not ousted from their territory, if they stay in the territory under the rule of the Islamic State, they have very harsh rules, very restrictive rules, but they are not killed. And today, I wonder what would be the justification or the explanation of such an act here in France, because even the rules of revenge in their ideology, in their dogma, don't really apply in this case.
Now we're waiting to find out, of course, Wassim, more about the identity of the attackers, more about their previous history, how closely they were being watched, whether they were being watched, whether they'd sought to go to Syria or not. I suppose one of the big questions investigators will be looking to, and it was what the focus of the investigation was after Nice, is what direct links there will have been between the men and members of the Islamic State organization in Syria and in Iraq. And there aren't necessarily any material links that they'll find.
Of course, there aren't necessarily any material links. We're in the 21st century, and links could be virtual. But links will exist, because in every terrorist and jihadi attack in Europe or anywhere else, the theory of lone wolves is just doesn't exist. It's not real. Each time you look closer to a case, you see that they have people who helped them, people who knew and didn't talk, people who armed them, and of course they will have a link with the Islamic State as a group. Otherwise, they wouldn't have claimed it this way, describing them as soldiers. And the first bits of information that we have say that one of them at least tried to join the Islamic State and was arrested in Turkey and even trial here in France. So of course links will be established, and these kinds of attacks are of course harder to prevent, especially and the investigation will tell us, especially if they didn't buy arms. Because even if they had electronic bracelets on them, so which makes it impossible for them to leave a certain perimeter, even if they had this on them, nothing will prevent them from buying a knife and killing the person next door.